if I wanted to drench that acre, I would use 4 times the amount. So then I would use, instead of 30 gallons, I would use 120 gallons, and I would use 4 cups of this. But you're just doing that for 2 to 4 weeks. But yeah, that's, you're typically, I mean, I'm not gonna say you're typically not gonna, remediate a whole acre, but yeah, you totally can. But
and that's kind of regardless of how deep the soil is?
yeah, it's 2 to 4 weeks, kind of depending on the quality of the soil. So if it's up the Hamakua coast and it's been chemically farmed for decades, you're definitely going to want to go to 4 weeks. If you just dozed and ripped your lot, you probably want to do 4 weeks. If the soil's kind of healthy, or it seems to be working, but it could be better, maybe 2 weeks. It's just however you really kind of feel. But yeah, so you drench it for 2 to 4 weeks, and then we move on to that next step where we do foliar application. So that's where we are habitually spraying every 7 to 11 days and kind of making sure that the plants are never stressed out. We're feeding them the right nutrients at the right time, and yeah, so that's kind of what you do. And then what that leads to is bioremediation. So there's a little depiction of like balance. So there's like love and microbes are kind of in balance with one another. So the environment starts to become imbalanced, like starts to bioremediate. That starts to kind of spark the transformation process where you're literally seeing depleted lands becoming really fertile and fruitful. And that allows us to kind of harmonization with our environments, with our pollinators, with our ancestors, with the microbes below our feet, and become in tune with nature. And it's kind of this like infinite sign of 8, because it's, we're always going to be going and collecting and preserving the biology, because it's for the future generations, and it kind of sparks this, the whole transformation bioremediation process. So does anyone have any questions? That's kind of like an overview of it.
Are these phases of the moon in the middle?
Oh yeah, good question. Yeah, so totally forgot about that. Yeah, there's other things on this sheet too. So yeah, these are the phases of the moon. And it's not like, I don't know, I might change it and do it more symmetrical, because it's not really that symmetrical. But yeah, you start with the new moon, it's Hilo, and then it goes around and it kind of goes through the loop, and it comes back to the new moon, and then it goes to the full moon in between that. But yeah, these are the Hawaiian moon phases. The reason I include them in there is because it's a big tool that I utilize in my farming and planting, is the Hawaiian moon calendar. And basically there's times when the sun and the moon and the earth are kind of in alignment with one another. That's if you're like in a model where you're taking the sun and you're holding it stationary and it's like a whole thing. But basically there's periods of times during the new moon and the full moon, the moon and the earth and the sun are all kind of in this alignment, kind of. And when they're in this alignment, it's a better time to be planting, to be kind of planting. And then in between, when we go where you see like the Oli days, like there's like Oli Pau, which is the end of them, Oli Kakahi, Oli Kulua. Those Oli means to go without, so it's not really the best time to be planting. It's more of a time to be like cutting things back, or pruning, or mulching, or propagating your plants that you are cutting back. That's a good question. Yeah, this is the moon phases, and basically with collecting microbes too, you can always, I believe you can always get a solid collection of indigenous microorganisms based on your intention, regardless of the moon cycle. But if you do plant into the moon, say that it's going to take 3 to 7 days for your box to get warm, you're going to want to place it 3 to 7 days before the full moon, or 3 to 7 days before the new moon. And if you do that, that might kind of help boost your chances of getting kind of a more successful collection. And when you do collect your IMOs, I suggest collecting multiple boxes, putting as many boxes out as you can at a time. You increase your chances significantly of getting a successful collection.
Can you describe the boxes for us a little bit? I mean,
Yeah.
we found the baskets, you know, like weaved baskets.
Yeah, that's kind of, so I say boxes, in Korea they recommend like cedar wood, you know, like a cedar wood about the size of a lunchbox, just a box. But I think what you're describing is like kind of like the Lahala baskets, which I utilize currently too, and but they're not forever because they don't really wear the test of time. But they're a good option. You can get those at Dolly's and Hilo. But basically just like a natural fiber box. You could even build a box if you have that ability to work with your hands and build. I've been experimenting a lot with bamboo. So if you cut bamboo in like slits, and then you cut it down the middle and open it up, it's kind of like a little box. And it has the little circles on the outside of them that are airtight for the most part. So, or they at least don't let air in. So that works pretty well as a natural box that you can kind of try. But you want to fill the box up 2/3 of the way with your hard cooked rice or your substrate. And I said that I experimented with taro and stuff. I'll pass this around. I didn't write the date on this, but this is just from a few days ago of an IMO collection from my land with taro instead of the rice, and it smells kind of like chocolate. I don't know why. I don't know. It smells like chocolate, so I thought I'd pass it around. But
They will just last without food? Like in the fridge for like indefinite?
oh, so that's a good question. So after you open the box and it's full of white mycelium, you want to preserve it in time with sugar. So with brown cane sugar, equal weight, that's the preservation stage. When you preserve it, you put it in the jar, fill it 2/3 of the way full with a breathable lid, and then kind of pass it around. I'll also pass around IMO this is from October of 2019. It kind of smells like tempeh, but that's with rice.
And you said that it's just equal parts cane sugar?
Yeah, equal weight. Equal weight of everything that's in your box
Okay.
and sugar.
Brown sugar.
Brown cane sugar. Yeah,
You use honey?
you can't use honey. One day I wish to be able to say you can. I'm gonna try experimenting with dehydrating honey and trying to get it to crystallize and then utilizing it. But there's something about sugar that when you mix it in with this, it creates osmotic pressure and it draws out the nutrients in the plants. And honey's also like antibacterial, and so yeah, and the sugar actually feeds the microorganisms and gives them a food. It's not just like sugar.
Do you put it right into the fridge right after you've blown the
So after you do it, you put it, you fill it up 2/3 of the way full, and you put a breathable lid on it, and you put it in your fermentation shelf out of direct sunlight for 7 days,
Okay.
and then it's preserved and good to go. And then you could put it in your fridge and store it indefinitely, or you could just put it on your shelf and it will last like up to like 2 years maybe before it goes bad. But you wanna constantly be kind of collecting biology, preserving the biology.
And then you said that you like add it with the soil from your land, and then this is what you use to kind of like get it spread.
Okay, so that's a good question. So back to this.